That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? You know, Elizabeth Olsen recently, she played Wanda, Scarlet Witch in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, where they completed what I think is like maybe the best character arc, right up there with Tony Stark's character arc for the best character arc in the MCU, where from the very moment we first were introduced to her with her brother, to her evolution as a character, then in WandaVision, WandaVision, easily the best thing Disney Plus has ever made, like by miles. And the way it ends is like, oh, she's going bad. And then the fulfillment of that in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, where she breaks bad. And she shows just how powerful she is. And of course, she dies at the end. Now, she came out shortly after that, and a little while ago, talking about how, when she was asked if she's going to come back and play Wanda again, she goes, I've been basically doing nothing but Marvel for 10 years. I don't want to be a one character person. It's time for me to move on and do other characters and do other work and do other things. And it really never sounded like she was all that keen. Like, she sounded like she loved her time in the MCU, but that time was now done. Well, now in a new interview, she sounds a lot more open to coming back and playing the character again. This comes to us from Deadline, who wrote this. Elizabeth Olsen played Wanda Maximoff, also known as the Scarlet Witch, across the Marvel Universe, and is seemingly down to continue reprising the role. In a recent interview, the WandaVision star opened up about playing the Marvel character and what it would take for her to portray her again. It's a character, she said, that I love going back to when there's a way to use her well. And I think I've been pretty lucky. When I started, I was used well, Olsen said in an interview. I think people didn't know what to do with me for a second there. If there's a good way to use her, I am always happy to come back. Yeah. So, now that's a little bit of a change of tone, right? For her. And it reminds me a little bit of the change of tone we started hearing from Robert Downey Jr. Because remember, he did that, who's the shock jock? Most famous radio DJ shock jock.
Is that Howard
Stern? Yeah. He did the Stern interview and he did a bunch of interviews. Basically, it's like, nah, I'm done. I played in the MCU for so long. But then in the last 8 to 10 months, in interviews Robert Downey Jr. was doing, all of a sudden his tone started to change. Like, oh, well, I'm forever going to be connected to that. And oh yeah. And then just a few months ago was, I would love to go back. I would love to go back. And then of course the announcement came that he was coming back, only this time he's going to be playing Doctor Doom. This reminds me a little bit of that progression. And it's like, because listen, I've always been of the mind that Marvel made it clear Wanda's dead, right? Even in the supplemental books, they wrote died, the character, when they did the character references, character first appeared, last appeared, died, boom, gone, right? And I thought she was done. But I'm not so sure she's done now. Here's the problem, though. This is the problem with a Scarlet Witch character. If you want to bring her back to the MCU, you've made her too powerful. What do you do with her now? Like, you literally had her taking on and taking out the Illuminati, all the wizards of the world, all the sorcerers. Like, there was literally nothing that could stop her until she stopped herself. What do you do with a character like that if you bring her back? Because Marvel became guilty of starting to spiral out of control with how powerful they started making their characters, right? Like, it started off with Hulk. Hulk was the ultimate nuclear option until they depowered him a bit. Then all of a sudden, Thor is the most unstoppable force in the galaxy. Captain Marvel is the most unstoppable force in the galaxy. Now Wanda, and they started making them more and more powerful. So while I think it's sounding more and more likely like I'm going to have to change my mind. Like, maybe it is sounding like she's going to come back. It does create a problem of what do you do with her? Do you say her experiences in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and being separated from the Darkhold and all that kind of stuff significantly depower her, and now she's back to a regular powered superhero? I don't know. Chris, you heard these comments from her. Do you think she's going to come back? And if she comes back, does that pose a problem for them? What do you think?
I think as long as the writing for the character is strong, she absolutely will. You have to remember too, Elizabeth Olsen is an actor's actor, right? She studied at Tisch. She studied at the Moscow Art Theater School. She is a really, really big focus on your craft kind of actor. And she's been getting to do that finally. She did Love and Death. She's in His Three Daughters right now that's making their rounds at TIFF and everything. She's gotten to do a lot more of the kind of acting that I think she really aspired to do her whole life. And Wanda, let's not say that that's not a great character too. She was given one of the most juicy characters we've seen come out of Marvel as well.
Absolutely.
And so I completely understand her purview on, I don't want to be known for just one thing. I want to do other stuff, see other things. I think she'd absolutely come back if there's a good reason for it. And as far as her being OP'd and everything, just being overpowered, I think either you have, nice mom Wanda be the one who comes into our universe, or if it's this one who broke bad, I'm very convinced that we are going to get some weird semblance of one of her children in Agatha. I think that we're going to get Orlok somehow, some way, in some kind of comic booky Marvel way. And you have, in the comics, it's usually her own mental state that kind of hinders her, right? What if we now have instead just vying for the affection of her own children of, I need to be a more calibrated, less bombastic person. I need to make sure my children do not fear me, let alone the rest of the world.
Which is funny because this version of her never had children.
Yes. No, that's what I'm saying, though, is she desperately wanted them. But
Yes.
if you bring one of them into the fold and it's, no, you're terrifying, you're a horrible person who never should have been a mother. Ooh, that makes a really interesting, complex story.
Do you think she could play into the Vision series?
Potentially. I think at the very least you do some kind of memory moment with her, right? Especially if White Vision is getting a whole bunch of our previous Visions viewpoints and everything like that. Wanda's so intrinsically tied to his story and who he was and how he became this sentient, realized person. So it makes sense to at least throw back to her.
We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, BetterHelp. Hey guys, it's John here. As kids, we're always learning new things, whether it's how to ride a bike, play an instrument, or even ace that math test. But as adults, it seems like we lose a bit of that natural curiosity. When was the last time you learned something new just for the fun of it? Like new skills, a new language, or maybe just how to finally beat your best friend at that game. Therapy can be a fantastic way to reconnect with that sense of wonder. It's like going back to school, but this time it's for you. It's about learning new coping skills, setting boundaries, and empowering yourself to become the best version of you. And the best part, it's not just for those who have experienced major trauma. It's for anyone looking to grow and learn more about themselves. If you've ever thought about starting therapy, why not give BetterHelp a try? It's completely online, making it super convenient and flexible to fit into your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a quick questionnaire and you'll be matched with a licensed therapist who fits your needs. Plus, if things aren't clicking, you can always switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. So rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Campea today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea. Take the first step to being your best self. All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about these comments made by Elizabeth Olsen? I mean, listen, maybe it's just, hey, just say nice things. Of course, the standard, a lot of actors say, oh yeah, I'd always go back if there was the right thing. And oftentimes they don't, but a lot of people believe she'll be back as Scarlet Witch. Do you think she will? Do you think there's even a place for Scarlet Witch now in the MCU? Would they have to massively depower her? I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.